Hello guys, it's Plunkster here. Today I will help you and give you the tools necessary to get out of silver or bronze in less than 10 hours of playtime. This is not a clickbait video, it's as real as it gets. I consider myself to be an average run-of-the-mill dick sucker in every competitive game I play, peaking like most players at mid to higher ranks, but failing to reach the top, regardless of the game genre. Like most people, I strongly believe that everyone worse than me is a fucking noob, and everyone better is either a no-lifer basement dweller, pimple enjoyer, fat fuck, or a cheater, and the game devs do nothing to moderate their own game. I played nearly all of the most popular PvP games, except Fortnite, because I'm not sexually aroused by men. Some examples would be CSGO, League, Valorant, Marvel Rivals, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, and so on. I can never say that I managed to actually be good at the games I played because I'm a realist, and if I were good, I would have been at the highest ranks possible. In this video, I will give you factual information on how to better yourself to overcome the initial struggle of the lower ranks, where luck is certainly a big factor. Now, I ain't talking about luck as in the enemy player landing a shot, or him surviving with 10 HP. I mean luck as in not getting teamed up with players that decide to leave mid-game out of frustration or real-life situations. That being said, let me explain it to you, how the general distribution of ranks work and the skill necessary to reach each step. You might be surprised, but the good players aren't in platinum or diamond. They are in the top 1%. The difference between a silver and a diamond player is about practice, really, and following some of the tips I will provide you in this video, it's realistically for you to reach it by yourself with minimal frustration and time investment. I will use this graph for the League of Legends 2024 season as an example, as I find it interesting how even with smurfs and boosting, across many seasons, League has had the perfect Gaussian normal distribution. At the start of the graph, we see the bottom players, the absolute worst of the worst, the trolls, the most unskilled there are, statistically speaking, of course. Now, if you are watching this video, you are most likely somewhere in the middle distribution. Believe it or not, in terms of skill or aim, if you are playing a shooter, you aren't far away from a platinum or diamond player. This is what the skill required to reach each division looks like. From silver to diamond, we see it slowly increasing, but after reaching diamond 1, you can notice a huge jump in the skill required. That is already when you must master the game. What does that mean? Adding to knowing what all of the champions' abilities do, you now know every cooldown for them as well, so you can time your own. Every laning phase becomes a chess minigame where instead of you acting or reacting to your opponent, you now predict most of his movements and skills used in advance. That, however, is a talk for another video. Back to the topic of reaching gold or platinum. If you are very talented at one particular game, then you climb the ladder with minimal effort, as most of the tips I'm about to give come to you naturally, and most likely you will not be watching this video. Tip number 1. Figure out if you really need to climb the ladder. What if, hear me out, you don't actually need to get better at the game? Who decided that you must be the Giga Chad destroyer of ass in every competitive match? Video games are about you having fun. If you are having fun and want to just simply see where you would classify in the rankings, then play competitive for the fun of it. The sweatlords that complain about shitty teammates are shitty players themselves. A true good player will never blame the team unless it's someone running down mid or intentionally trolling. Just log in, start your match, and play because you want to. Not because you saw Jimmy the YouTuber who plays the game for a living reach Grandmaster, so you decided it's you who needs to be up there as well. What if you are a carpenter or a banker? Do you think Jimmy can't sleep at night and is sweating over the fact that he must be the top 1% chairmaker or investment banker? Jimmy will be more than happy to buy 5 Nvidia stocks and call it a day, or assemble a $100 IKEA table and open a cold one to celebrate, proud of his work. Don't compare yourselves to people whose living depends on a particular game. Tip number 2. If you still want to climb because it's fun for you, then I can help. Learn to play multiple roles or positions. Now, most team-based PvP games are more or less defined by a set of certain roles, even Counter-Strike, believe it or not, as you are required 1 AVP player per team if you want to control a site and have the versatility of moving in between them at a moment's notice. Depending on your game, there are some small adjustments, but the most important one is obviously learn multiple roles. Let me give you another example from Marvel Rivals. There are 3 roles. All 3 equally important. Regardless of your ultra best position, it's very, very important that you learn the other roles as well in order to be the one that switches if your team refuses to. The easiest heroes I found to play in each role are Squirrel Girl or Punisher for damage, Mantis or Luna to heal, and Venom or Hulk to tank. If you can manage to get good with these heroes, Platinum or Diamond is guaranteed, buddy. The reason why I always choose 2 of each is because Sometimes your own team may pick the hero you want. Therefore, it's always good to have a plan B. Tip number 3, team play. What I mean by this is not just to play as a team, but to be the team player the other guys masturbate in the shower to. There's a 2016 study from Dutch scientists on Dota 2 that proved that toxicity is directly affecting losing a match. In the same study, they also proved that being positive has no impact on the game whatsoever. However, having a positive mentality while playing, by praising a nice play or a nice call from your team, will help you psychologically to make the right decisions yourself. A mind clouded by hate generally makes some stupid-ass mistakes that when you watch your replay, you think a 12 IQ chimpanzee was playing that match. I'm very toxic in like 1/4 of my games, and I usually lose those against much weaker opponents, making me realize that maybe it's not worth it to lose rank points just because I can't control my emotions. Now, I know there are a lot of toxic top 0.1% players, but they simply outskill their entire divisions. Thus, being toxic is not an impediment to succeed. That being said, remember, be nice to your team. Sometimes that helps a lot, even if you won't realize. The 2000 healing mantis maybe lost a pet or failed an exam because of circumstances she couldn't control. And now when finally getting to play her favorite game, she is getting called out for being a dumb bitch that should uninstall. Be human. After being toxic to her, no way in hell she will start performing better and suddenly win you the match. Tip number 4, use the game's sound and visual cues. I will use Marvel Rivals and CSGO as an example. I can't stress this enough, but oh god, how many people I see getting ulted by Scarlet Witch, or people running with low HP into Winter Soldier after hearing "again." Or remember the moment in CSGO, you see a teammate run behind a corner, you hear a flashbang drop, and the guy just backpedals with his hand covering his face because he didn't turn? A lot of good PvP games, from a user's perspective, have a lot of visual and audio cues. Turn your sound on and use it. After a few games, your brain will notice the pattern, and you will act accordingly, on a whim, without even realizing how good you are already at dodging stuff. Also in Marvel Rivals, at least, there are huge exclamation marks whenever Magneto or Witch is casting their respective ultimates. There are also plenty of guides on specific champions that allow you to dodge a lot of the ultimates based on their sound cue. A good YouTube short I've seen was Star-Lord's ability to completely ignore 70% of the ultimates mechanics present in the game, even Jeff's. Tip number 5, the final one. Don't ever blame your team unless it's an external factor that caused them to leave. Let's take an example of two people arguing. Have you ever noticed from your experience that a person becomes rational, calms down, and performs better after getting yelled at and being called a retarded ape with no arms? After thousands of hours in League and CSGO, I noticed absolutely no increase in performance after blaming my team for stupid mistakes they make. I did, however, notice an increase in performance after looking myself back at the replays and noticing my stupid-ass mistakes that caused me to lose certain rounds or team fights, all entirely my fault. It wasn't Jimmy the 08Z who saw a Kata ult and didn't stun her, but instead chased a half HP Draven. It was me. It wasn't Jimmy the 1500 damage Star-Lord who ran straight into a Jeff ultimate as the last living tank in the team, therefore losing the round entirely. It was me. Whenever I look at a lost game that was looking to be a walk in the park, I notice a pattern when I am playing like dog shit, and I instantly remind myself of the JoJo meme. You thought it was a shit team, but it was me, Dio, all along. I'll keep this video short so you can get back to your favorite game. If you think any of the tips are stupid as fuck, please let me know in the comment section below. That will also boost my engagement, so let's do it for the algo. There are some other smaller issues that are dominant in the lowest ranks in most games, but they are all possible to overcome by yourself, because if they weren't, then you would not have been watching this video at all, since you didn't care. Remember, be nice to your team. Just play a lot and it will eventually come, because the skill gap between a silver and a diamond is more game hours, not some supernatural ability to place wards or throw a smoke, all of which can also be learned in 1 minute after watching a video. That is all. If you like the video, give it a like. If you think I am retarded, let me know in the comments section down below. If you think this video is the peak of human creativity and we will never accomplish anything higher as a society, subscribe. GG, well played. Plunkster out.